Hey my loves, welcome back to another episode of Selfish Therapy. If this is your first time, welcome aboard. On this channel, we talk about any and everything self-therapy. Guys, if you haven't seen my last video, please make sure that you go ahead and watch it. This is a continuation of that video. That's I think I'm doing like a 4 or 5 part series of self-development. First video, we kind of went over high level, like the overarching of what to expect, and second video was about mental development, just trying to like gear away from negative thoughts and develop your mindset, develop a positive mindset. So today we're getting into setting those goals and focusing on certain things that you can actually do to achieve those goals, to develop yourself, the things that you want. You know what you want. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Guys, remember, you show your support to me by subscribing to my channel, turning on your post notification bell so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified first. Leave me a thumbs up if you do like my videos and drop a comment below. Let me hear what your thoughts are on the topic. So with that said, guys, let's get right into the video. So guys, today, like I said, we're going to be talking about setting smart goals and achieving them. How can we do that? And one of the things, before I get into the actual steps or things that you can do to set your goals, or things that, let me say, before we get into how to set those goals, things that you want to keep in mind to set your goals, let's talk through what kind of stops us from getting to that place. We all have goals and dreams, and we tend to struggle to achieve them. Why? Because one, we may lack consistency and we procrastinate a lot, are two of the huge things that kills your goal and your dreams, right? You find ways of, remember we talked about last week, a positive mindset, looking at baby steps, knowing when to take a win as a win, and just give yourself grace in the small progress that you make, right? So we tend to procrastinate a lot. And I like to say, one thing I've learned over the years, which I'll share with you guys, I think procrastination can be good and bad, right? I don't think it's all bad. And I've learned this. I used to date somebody that I just felt like he was such a procrastinator. Like he just waited and waited and waited and waited. But as I got older, it kind of taught me that sometimes people procrastinate because, yeah, sometimes it's fair. Sometimes they're waiting for the right time. And sometimes they're just really not ready, right? And when they do get it done, or they do make that move, then they're making it big, or they're actually like, now I'm gonna start, let me just take it head on, right? And then you have some people like me, I just do it. Win, lose or draw, fail or not, I'm just gonna do it. That's just my personality. So I couldn't understand somebody that just lays back and waits and, oh, let me think about, what are you thinking about? Let's do it, because the right time is never gonna come. That's what I feel. Like, you decide, you determine when the right time is. So with that, I had to learn that it's good and it's bad. However, I do believe procrastination can delay you, and it takes a longer time for you to get to your goal, right? So let's talk about that. How can we stop procrastinating so we can improve our productivity, right? One of the things I realized, we procrastinate because sometimes it seems like it's too big to achieve. Like, you find it difficult to see the smaller steps that it takes to get to that big picture. So you're so focused on the bigger picture, and it seems so overwhelming. So you sit there and you ponder, or you wait until you have no choice. You wait until the last minute to get it done. I don't know. People are like that. But one thing that I think can help with changing that approach is, one, planning ahead of time. And when I say plan, for example, what I do is I'm a list person. I like to write things down. There's something rewarding about checking off my list. Let's get it done. It does something for me. I feel like I'm achieving something. I feel like I break up my larger task or my long-term goals in smaller ones, right? So I could do one thing at a time to check it off, and that helps to push me to want to keep consistently pushing towards reaching that bigger goal or completing that bigger task. That helps, but I plan ahead of time. So have this habit, or sometimes before I go to bed, or I look at, let's say for work, for example, I look at my calendar, what I have coming up tomorrow. Let me focus my efforts on what I have coming up so that, one, I'm prepared, right? I'm prepared for it, but also I'm not surprised and I feel overwhelmed and frustrating because I was just not prepared. I didn't know what was coming, or I'm not going to wait until like now or hours before, or depending on how big the task is, I'm going to wait until the day before to get it done because I feel frustrated. Some people operate okay under pressure. They like that kind of pressure. I like to plan. I'm a planner. So for me, I found that helps. That helps me a lot. So I write down what I need. If I'm going to the grocery store, there's just something about crossing off that I feel like I've accomplished something. And I look forward to that. So that is something that I believe that if you start planning ahead of time, write it down. Find some way of keeping track of it and keeping track of the progress and the steps that you make, of the things that you completed. Break them up in smaller parts, right? And I think that's something that will help with if you are a procrastinator, right? Try it. Tell me what you think. So now that we understand what are some of the things that could stop us from actually achieving our goals and how we can combat procrastination, or the way that we process things is planning ahead. So how do we plan ahead? You want to set goals, and set your goals. You want to set SMART goals, right? SMART goals, it must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be relevant and time bound, right? Keep that in mind. Every time that there's something that you want to achieve, you want to make sure you run it by, is this a SMART goal, right? It kind of keeps you organized, keeps you on track, keeps you focused to achieve that goal. And there are also other little things that you can do. Like I said, writing a list is one of those things. Setting reminders is one of those things. Putting up your, I spoke about your vision board. That works for some people. But it doesn't matter what your method of staying on top of it is. You want to make sure when you set those goals, they are SMART. So when I say specific, you want to make sure that if you can't pinpoint specifically what it is that you are trying to get to, and so that you can know when you get there, then it's too broad of a goal and you want to break it up. So it must be specific. You want to make sure it's measurable. How will you know when you've achieved it, right? How can you measure it, right? The next thing is it's achievable. You don't want to set goals that is just so out of, let me just set a goal. My plan is to touch the sky by next year. Like, that's just like, you know what I mean? I want to, let me just grab some air in a bottle and save it and see what happens. Right? You want to make sure the goals that you are setting, they are achievable, because then that's what motivates you. Because who wants to set something that they don't think they could achieve anyway? Why would you even try? So, and that's just me throwing something out there. Obviously, I can't think of anything else, but you get the gist, right? You understand where I'm coming from. So, last tip for setting your goals and staying on top of what needs to be done to achieve them is, I mentioned some of the tools that you can use to get them. One, I already told you, I shared with you at the beginning of the video, where you could write a list. Simply, easy, write a list. You can write a list on your phone, the options for notes. it's there on your cell phone. All smartphones should have that at this time. You could do that. You could create your own vision board, as I mentioned. However way you want, you could do pictures, you could write it down, put it in a place that you can see it, and constantly remind yourself, kind of like train your mind, say, hey, stay focused, this is what I need to do. They have something called a digital board. I've never done it myself, but I heard that apps like, sites like Canva, you can use that to create your digital board. If you don't necessarily want to do your own vision board, you can, there are options on there where you can create your own little world, right? There are methods of people who may write stuff, write letters to themselves, put timestamps on them, say, hey, by this time. So it kind of helps to, I don't know, it's a motivation strategy, right? So you can use that. Some people journal by making sure they're keeping record of every step they're taking towards this goal. Just kind of like to measure how much time we have left, what I've achieved already. It also helps to motivate and keep you on track. It keeps you focused on what needs to be done. Some people, for me, I watch what I'm into. So for instance, when I was ready to purchase a home, I would watch those videos. I would do research. I would pretty much live it to see what are all the possible things that I would need to do to achieve this goal. So like I said, you know, those are some of the things that you can do. Ask questions, surround yourself with people that are doing the same things that you would like to achieve. See if, you know, how can you network and learn more about that specific thing. You know, somebody that lived it may be able to give you more insights on things that they experienced that somebody else may not be privy to or may not have experienced to tell you. So now the more information that you gather about this goal, the more you'll know if it's something for you, and at least you'll have an idea that, you know, you're not going into something blindsided. So whatever tool you choose to track and stay on top of your goals, just make sure that you're setting SMART goals. You want to make sure that these are things that you're achievable, turn them into smaller action items. Set your big goal, your long-term goal, or the larger goals, but then break that up into smaller parts so that you can achieve them bit by bit, piece by piece, right? That's really it. Don't try to, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to give up and to not, to procrastinate, or just to not be consistent when you are looking at it from, you know, the place of, this is just too much for me to get. You have to at least believe that you can. And how do you do that? Break that up in smaller pieces. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to leave me a thumbs up. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me hear what your thoughts are. What are some of the things that you do to achieve your goals? And this was very high level again about goal setting. So if you guys want me to do a video where I go deeper into it, probably show you some of the things, then I'll be happy to do that. But I felt like high level, just to talk through it would help, just to at least start the conversation and trigger the mind to start thinking about it if you haven't already. But share some of your ideas, maybe something I didn't mention on this video, and I would love to hear them, right? But with that said, guys, I am going to love you and leave you until the next episode. Again, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification bell so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified first. So thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.